Hi students, in this video let us discuss about viruses, viroids and lichens. As students, nowadays you know that there is no schools and colleges because of the COVID-19 pandemic or coronavirus. Now it makes really curious for us to know a lot about viruses. So in this video let us discuss about what are these viruses. Okay. Now these group of organisms, that is viruses group of organisms, they are been not classified anywhere in the RH Whittaker system of classification. If you see, right from the kingdom Monera, Protista, Mycota, or kingdom Fungi, Plantae and Animalia, there was no places given to these group of organisms called viruses, viroids and lichens. Now basically why there was no place given to the viruses, because viruses, they are both living, they show the characteristics of living as well as the non-living. Okay, so viruses, they behave as both living organisms and as well as the non-living things. Okay, now let us discuss more about it in detail. Now basically we are going to study that there are two types of viruses, that is a plant virus and animal virus. So this is the basic classification of virus what I am saying. One is plant virus, other one is animal virus. Now the virus which actually infects the plants, they are called as plant virus, and the viruses which infect the animals, they are called as the, including humans, they are called as the animal virus. So this is one thing. Then one more type of viruses we have, they are called as a DNA virus. One more classification is DNA virus and RNA virus. Now why we have this classification? Now if the genetic material of these viruses is a DNA, that is a deoxyribonucleic acid, then we call them as DNA virus. And if the genetic material of viruses is RNA, then it is called as the RNA virus. So one classification is plant virus and animal virus, depending upon to whom or to what it infects. And next one is a DNA virus and RNA virus, depending upon the genetic material. Cell, inside the cell, what kind of genetic material is there, depending upon that, again we have this two classification. Now let us see why they are not classified under any of the kingdom under RH Whittaker system of classification. See, basically when you say virus, okay, it comes from the Latin term of the virus refers to venomous, which means poisonous fluid or poisonous substance. Okay, so this is the meaning of the term virus. Okay, now if you see here, the virus doesn't have a cell structure. The virus do not have a cell structure. Now if you see the bacterial cell, or if you see any cell like amoeba, even if you see unicellular organisms, they have different cell organelles, but when you come to viruses, they don't have any cell organelles. So this is the difference between other organisms and that of the virus. Now how does the virus actually look like? Now viruses, they have a genetic material, and this genetic material, as I said you all, it may be in the form of a DNA or it may be in a form of RNA. Now if it is a DNA, it may be single stranded DNA, or it may be single stranded DNA, or it may be double stranded DNA. Okay. Okay, so this is single stranded DNA or double stranded DNA, or it may be a ribonucleic acid, that is it may be a RNA. Okay, so this is the genetic material of our viruses. Then one more thing what we have is, this genetic material is actually protected by one more layer, which is a proteinaceous in nature. It is called as, this layer is called as the capsid. Now what this capsid do? This capsid will help in the protection of the genetic material. Okay, and this capsid is in turn made of protein and smaller subunit proteins called as caspomeres. So each subunit, now this is a subunit, this is a subunit, this is a subunit. All these subunits, they are called as the capsomere. And when all these capsomeres come together, they take a regular shape, and this regular shape is called as the capsid. Okay, now let us discuss about discovery of these viruses. Now what happened was, usually this tobacco plant got some disease, it started showing some infection, and because of this several research took place, and at that time D.J. Ivanovsky in 1892 he gave the term that it is a virus. So in 1892 D.J. Ivanovsky, he said that because of the virus, the tobacco plant is showing certain infection, and that virus was actually TMV, that is tobacco mosaic virus. Okay, then we have one more scientist who is M.W. Beijerinck. M.W. Beijerinck. In 1898, he had done that experiment. What was that experiment? He had taken a infected plant. Now let us consider that this is a infected plant infected by tobacco mosaic virus. Okay, infected by tobacco mosaic virus. Now what this Beijerinck do is, he is going to take one more plant, that is one more very healthy plant, and what is going to do is, he is going to prepare a suspension out of this. What I mean to say is, he will take a leaf, crush it, and whatever fluid or whatever liquid part he get from that particular leaf is going to transfer it to this plant. Okay, when the fluid what was collected from this diseased plants was transferred to this plant also started to show certain infection. This plant also started to show the infection. Now, because the fluid contains some living thing that brought the infection to the healthy plant, he called it as contagium vivium fluidum, which means the contagious, which refers to the disease spreading. So the fluid which was present in this particular plant, it has some living thing which is transferring the disease from a diseased plant to the healthy plant. So he named it as contagium vivium fluidum. Okay, so this was given by M.W. Beijerinck. Then later one more scientist came whose name was W.M. Stanley. In 1935 he told that these viral particle, okay, these viral particle, they can be stored in a bottle like a chemical. So he said that these viral particles, they can be easily stored and kept in the laboratory as a chemical substance, and this was the one more nature of the virus which was known because of the experiments which were made by W.M. Stanley. Okay, so three important names we have to remember when it comes to virus. That is D.J. Ivanovsky, that is in 1892 he coined the word called virus, and M.W. Beijerinck in 1898 he had made this experiment wherein transfer of a fluid from the infectious plant to the non-infectious plant, that is healthy plant, and this healthy plant also get the disease. And W.M. Stanley, who is going to show that these viruses can be easily stored as a chemical substance. Okay, so this is one thing. Now next what we have is, we have something called as viroids. Now here in 1971, that is T.O. Diner, he discovered a special kind of a disease or some infectious disease, and that disease was potato spindle tuber disease. Potato spindle tuber disease. Now what this the symptom of this disease were, the potato was unable to form in a proper shape, and the starch content also was very less, and because of this infection the potato plant used to die. Now his research found, when he does the research on the plant, he found that it was not a virus nor a bacteria or not any infectious agent, but it was just an RNA. It was just a genetic material or a RNA actually which started to cause this disease. So this is a infectious kind of RNA This is an infectious kind of RNA which enters into the plant and which destroys the nucleus, or which destroys the actual DNA or nucleic acid of that particular plant. Infectious RNA which destroys the normal genetic material of the plant, and this was named as viroids. Okay, and next very important one what we are going to discuss is about lichens. Lichens, already we have discussed about lichen. Lichens is the association of a algae and a fungi. The symbiotic association of algae and fungi, that is called as the lichen. And how these are related? The algae is going to give the food to the fungi, and fungi is providing the shelter to the algae. So this is a symbiotic association where the mutual partner, that is both partners, are benefited. Okay, and when you see this, the algal partner which is present in this lichen, it is called as phycobiont, and the fungal partner which is present in the lichen, it is called as mycobiont. Phycobiont and mycobiont. Okay, so these are one of the best pollution indicators also, because these lichens, they do not grow in a polluted area. Usually these lichens, they are found in the forest, or they are found in areas where there is very less pollutions. Okay, so we call them as ecological indicators. Ecological indicators. So they indicate the ecological status, or they indicate the atmospheric pollution also. If the pollution is less, then only you find this lichens, otherwise usually we don't find this lichens. And for your information, I'm just telling, actually it is not there in your syllabus. Again, we can have this algae, three types of algae, that is crustose, foliose, and fruticose lichen. These are three different types: crustose lichen, foliose lichen, and fruticose lichen. Crustose lichen, usually they are completely attached to the surface of a plant. Okay, and foliose lichen, they appear like a leaf-like, and fruticose lichen, they are going to develop the outer mass. Okay, more than a leaf. Okay, lot of what we say mass we can find in this particular kind of lichen. Okay, children, please try to please like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you.